In this speech, I'm going to talk about something that's kind of near and dear to me, something that's a problem that I see that's facing the United States, and I kind of wanted to address it and maybe give some ideas on how to possibly correct it. In the United States, there are roughly 2 out of every 3 people have this problem, and I happen to be one of them. Some of the risks associated with this particular problem are type 2 diabetes, coronary heart disease, hypertension, sleep apnea, breathing problems, high cholesterol, and stroke. And it just so happens that last March this year I was diagnosed with hypertension and with high cholesterol because I suffer from this problem. The particular problem I'm referring to is people being overweight here in the United States. In this speech, I'm going to talk about some possible solutions to overcoming weight loss or overcoming weight problems and fitness problems. For those of you who might be asking, well, you don't look like a fitness expert, and to you I would have to say you're absolutely right. I'm not a fitness expert. But I will have to say that from March till now, I have lost about roughly 20 pounds by following a few of these simple ideas, and my wife over here, she started about the exact same time I did, and between then and now she's lost roughly 60 pounds. So while we're not experts, or I'm definitely not an expert on it, I do believe that I might have a few ideas on how to lose some weight. There are a few things I want you to keep in mind though as I go through this. One thing is that your weight will not come off overnight. It did not come off. You did not gain it overnight. You will not lose it overnight. So those who have no patience, you need to find something, okay? Another thing you need to do is you need to talk to your doctor first before you start any kind of fitness program or wellness program, because you want your doctor to make sure that you are capable of, you don't want to inadvertently hurt yourself when you're trying to work out or when you're trying to get better, or you don't want to make the situation worse. Another thing that I just mentioned was you want to try to be patient with yourself. You are going to fall off the wagon. You are going to occasionally want to sneak some M&Ms. You are occasionally going to want to eat some ice cream or things like that. The big thing is, don't beat yourself up about it. You are going to make mistakes. Get over it. Tomorrow's a new day. Finally, understand that physical fitness, it's not a destination. It's a journey. It's all about trying to get from taking it one day at a time. You're not ever going to reach your goal of being the ultimately physically fit individual. It's a day-by-day, step-by-step process, and that's something you need to keep in mind when you're trying to do this. When it comes to making the changes, the first changes you need to make are what you're eating, okay? If you are eating M&Ms, sweet foods, candies, things like that, you need to look at that and examine it. One of the people that I like and that I've used when it comes to reading and when it comes to looking at material is it's called the Eat Clean Fitness Diet, and the author's name is Tosca Reno. I believe I pronounced that correctly. Her way of looking at it is, first you have to examine what you're eating. You have to take inventory of what you've got. Another thing that I like to do is I use an online app, and it's also an app that you can put on your smartphone. It's called myfitnesspal.com. And I've used it, my wife has used it religiously, and that's why she has lost more weight than I have. But yeah, like I said, it's an app that you can use. It tracks your caloric intake, it tracks your proteins, your carbs, it tracks your salt intake, everything like that, and based on your height, your age, and how much you weigh now, it calculates how many calories you should have per day. So using that, I think, is a great thing to use. Another useful website is called mealsmatter.org, where you can go in, you can find recipes and things like that to, you know, if you're eating sugary foods and whatnot, it also gives you recipes on things that you can foods and things that you can eat. Another big thing for me, if you're anything like me, is the sugars. I am a sugar person. I love cake, I love pie, I love M&Ms, I love chocolate. And there you go. I'm that way, and that's always been one of my biggest problems is cutting that out. But here again, it requires a little bit of discipline to try to get it out of you got to get it out of the house, because if you don't get it out of the house, you're going to eat it. Let's see. Here again, talking about getting things out of the house, one of the things you have to do is you have to get the food out of the house. I know that some people are like, oh my gosh, I don't want to waste the food. You have to get it out of the house. You have to go through your pantry, you have to go through your kitchen, and you have to say, okay, this has got to go. If it doesn't go, you're going to eat it. I'm the same way, I understand. Another thing you want to do is once you get it out of the house, you want to find out what you can use to replace it with. Here again, I'm going to go back to the Eat Clean Fitness Diet. She goes through, if you want to read that book, she has a lot of great tips on what you can replace those things with, a lot of meals, a lot of recipes, things like that. Another thing, and I didn't touch on this much because my personal belief is 80% of weight issues is food. It's not exercise. So the other 20%, when it comes to exercise, my recommendation is don't do an exercise you hate. If you're not a weightlifting individual, don't do it because you're not going to stick to it. I personally used to like to lift weights when I was in college. As I've gotten older, I don't like doing it anymore because it hurts my joints. I'm just that way. So I use resistance bands. There's always another way when it comes to working out of how to do the exercise you want to do without having to hurt yourself. If you're unmotivated and you're not exactly sure where to start, things like that, I recommend finding a fitness instructor. Somebody that you're comfortable with, somebody that you can trust. One of the places we went to first was the local YMCA. They have instructors there. It's generally a pretty cheap membership to get started, and they're really willing to help you get to where you want to get to. Another thing that maybe seems kind of funny, but ask the people around where you work. Ask your office cohorts. Ask the people at your church. Look for the skinny people, or the people that look like they're in shape. Ask them. Say, what do you do? What do you do to stay in shape and to stay fit and trim? Because obviously I'm not doing that. So that's what you may want to. Those are just a few things you want to do, just to see. And also another big thing when it comes to working out is find somebody to be accountable to. That is one of my biggest problems. Find somebody that is willing to let you call them, willing to let you say, hey, I've eaten this much, during the day, or yes, I went and I did my exercise. Somebody that you can either go with to the workout room or somebody that you can be accountable to. That's another big thing, because if you're not accountable to somebody, chances are you will not be able to do what you need to do when it comes to losing weight and everything. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for sitting in on this presentation, and thank you very much. Appreciate it.